Your words shape your world. You can talk yourself into a blessing or out of one. Some folks lose opportunities just because they can't keep their mouth shut, complaining, gossiping, speaking negativity. That ain't helping you. Instead, speak life, speak faith, speak confidence. Watch how your words start shifting your reality, because when you talk different, you start thinking different. And when you think different, you move different. Your words have power more than you realize. What comes out of your mouth can either build your future or destroy it. Every time you speak, you're planting seeds. Some people plant seeds of success, growth, and possibility, while others constantly sow negativity, doubt, and destruction. What you say creates an atmosphere around you. And that atmosphere determines the results you get in life. Think about it. You ever notice how some folks always complain? They talk about how broke they are, how life is unfair, how nothing good ever happens to them. And guess what? They stay stuck in that same cycle. Not because life is against them, but because their words are. The moment you start speaking defeat, your mind starts believing it and your actions follow. You stop trying as hard, you stop looking for solutions, and before you know it, you've talked yourself right into failure. But on the other side, successful people speak differently. They talk about opportunities even when things look rough. They don't ignore problems, but they focus on solutions. They don't say, I can't afford that. They say, how can I afford that? They don't say, I'm never going to make it. They say, I'm figuring this out, one step at a time. See, the way you talk shapes the way you think, and the way you think shapes the way you move. Now, I know some people will say, well, just talking positive doesn't change reality, but let me tell you something. Your words are more than just sounds. They are instructions to your mind. When you say, I got this, your brain starts looking for ways to make it happen. When you say, this is too hard, your brain shuts down and doesn't even try. You are literally programming yourself every time you speak. You ever been around someone who's always negative? They complain about their job, their family, the weather, the traffic, everything. After a while, just being around them drains your energy. You walk away feeling heavier, like their negativity rubbed off on you. That's because words don't just affect the person speaking them, they affect everyone who hears them too. That's why you have to be careful not only about what you say, but also about what you listen to. Let me give you a real life example. There was a man who wanted to start his own business, but everyone around him kept telling him it was too risky. You're going to fail, they said. You don't have enough money, they reminded him. If he had listened, he would have given up before he even started. But instead, he made a decision. He would only speak success over his life. Every day he told himself, I am building something great. I am finding the right opportunities. I am learning what I need to know. Even when things got tough, he didn't change his words. And guess what? He succeeded. Not because of luck, but because he trained his mind to stay focused. He kept pushing forward, and he refused to let negative words stop him. Your mouth can either be your best friend or your worst enemy. It can open doors or shut them before you even get to knock. The choice is yours. Speak life, not death. Speak faith, not fear. Speak success, not failure. Because the moment you start controlling your words, you start controlling your life. Everything in your life starts with your thoughts. The way you think determines how you feel, how you act, and ultimately what you achieve. If your mind is full of doubt, negativity, and fear, then your life will reflect that. But if you train your mind to focus on possibilities, solutions, and growth, then nothing can stop you from reaching your goals. The truth is, your mind is either working for you or against you, and it all depends on what you feed it. If you constantly tell yourself, I'm not good enough, I'll never make it, or I always fail, then you've already lost before you even begin. Your mind will believe whatever you tell it, whether it's true or not. That's why people who think like victims always stay stuck. They believe the world is against them, that success is only for lucky people, and that nothing ever works out for them. And because that's what they believe, that's exactly what they experience. On the other hand, successful people train their minds differently. They know that doubt will come, fear will creep in, and challenges will appear, but they don't let those thoughts control them. Instead, they take control of their thinking. They fill their minds with thoughts of strength, faith, and determination. They remind themselves of their abilities, focus on their goals, and refuse to let negative thoughts take over. One of the biggest mistakes people make is letting their thoughts run wild. They don't even realize how much negativity they allow in. They spend hours worrying about things they can't control, replaying past mistakes and imagining worst-case scenarios that may never even happen. The more they do this, the worse they feel. And the worse they feel, the less they take action. It becomes a cycle of fear, doubt, and inaction. But the good news is you have the power to break that cycle. You have to become the boss of your own mind. That means being intentional about what you allow yourself to think about when a negative thought shows up. Don't entertain it. Replace it. If your mind says, I can't do this, stop and say, I can figure this out. If your mind says, I'm not smart enough, tell yourself, I can learn whatever I need to know. At first, it might feel like a battle, but over time, you'll retrain your brain to think differently.
Now let's talk about what happens when you don't control your mind. Have you ever seen someone who has all the talent, all the potential, but they never do anything with it? They overthink, they hesitate, and they convince themselves they're not ready. It's not that they aren't capable, it's that their own mind is stopping them. Here's a young woman who always dreamed of starting her own business. She had the skills, the passion, and even a great business idea. But every time she thought about taking the first step, she let fear take over. What if I fail? What if people judge me? What if I'm not good enough? She kept feeding these thoughts until she talked herself out of trying. Years passed and she stayed stuck in the same job she hated, watching other people live their dreams while she stayed trapped in fear. One day she decided enough was enough. She started catching her negative thoughts and replacing them with better ones. Instead of thinking about failure, she focused on learning. Instead of doubting herself, she reminded herself of her skills. Slowly she built confidence, took action, and launched her business. Today she's thriving, not because she never had doubts, but because she stopped letting her doubts control her. Your mind is your most powerful tool. It can push you forward or hold you back. The choice is yours. If you want to win in life, you have to take control of your thoughts. Train your mind to believe in yourself. Focus on solutions and expect success. Because once you win in your mind, you'll win everywhere else. Your emotions are powerful, but if you let them control you, they will lead you into decisions you'll regret. Life is unpredictable. People will test your patience, circumstances will frustrate you, and unexpected problems will arise. But no matter what happens, you have a choice. You can either react emotionally or respond wisely. The difference between those who succeed and those who stay stuck is that successful people control their mood. They don't let their mood control them. Think about how many times people ruin opportunities because they couldn't control their emotion. Maybe they lashed out in anger, said something they shouldn't have, or allowed their emotions to make decisions for them. Later, when the moment passes, they regret it, but the damage is done. Their words have already been spoken, their actions have already been taken, and now they're stuck dealing with the consequences. Controlling your mood doesn't mean ignoring your emotions. It means mastering them. It means recognizing when you're upset, frustrated, or stressed, and choosing how to handle it. Too many people let emotions dictate their actions without stopping to think. When they're mad, they explode. When they're discouraged, they quit. When they're afraid, they back down. And that's exactly why they stay stuck. Because instead of thinking long-term, they make permanent decisions based on temporary feelings. The truth is, your emotions will come and go. but the decisions you make because of them will stay with you. A moment of anger can destroy a relationship. A moment of doubt can cause you to miss out on a great opportunity. A moment of frustration can make you quit something that was about to pay off. If you don't control your emotions, they will control you, and that's dangerous. The most successful people in the world have learned how to control their emotions. They don't let a bad day turn into a bad life. They don't let criticism stop them from moving forward. They don't let their feelings get in the way of their goals. When something frustrates them, they take a deep breath, think through their next move, and respond wisely instead of reacting impulsively. Let's talk about stress, because that's a big one. Everybody deals with stress, but not everybody handles it the same way. Some people let stress break them down. They lose their temper, complain, and give up. Others use stress as fuel. They take control of the situation, find solutions, and keep pushing forward. The difference? Self-control. When you learn to manage your mood, stress stops controlling you, and you start controlling it. Now let me give you a real-life example. There was a man working a job he didn't like. His boss was always rude to him, never appreciated his work, and constantly made unreasonable demands. Every day he left work feeling frustrated and angry. One day, after an especially bad argument with his boss, he was ready to quit on the spot. His emotions told him to walk away, to prove a point, to let them know he wasn't going to take it anymore. But instead of reacting emotionally, he took a step back. He reminded himself of his bigger goal, to build his own business. He knew that if he quit impulsively, he wouldn't have enough savings to start. So instead of letting his mood dictate his actions, he controlled it. He made a plan, saved up money, and when the time was right, he walked away on his own terms, not out of anger, but out of wisdom. Today, he's running a successful business, all because he didn't let one bad moment ruin his future. The lesson here is simple. Don't let emotions make decisions for you. Take control of your mood. When something upsets you, pause before you react. When fear creeps in, remind yourself of your goals. When stress comes, focus on solutions instead of problems. Because once you learn to control your emotions, nothing can stop you from reaching your full potential. Money is one of the biggest factors that determine how you live your life. It can be a tool that gives you freedom, security, and opportunities, or it can be a trap that keeps you stressed, struggling, and stuck in a cycle of survival. The difference? Control. If you don't control your money will control you. Too many people let money dictate their lives instead of learning how to manage it wisely. They work hard, earn a paycheck, and then spend it all, sometimes before they even have it. The truth is, it's not about how much money you make, it's about how much you keep and how wisely you use it. There are people making six figures who are still broke because they don't control their spending. At the same time, there are people making much less who are building wealth because they know how to manage their money. If you don't have control over your finances, life will always feel like a struggle, no matter how much you earn. One of the biggest mistakes people make is spending money emotionally. They feel stressed, so they shop to feel better. They want to impress others, so they buy things they can't afford. They get a raise, and instead of saving, they immediately upgrade their lifestyle. Then, when an emergency comes, they have nothing saved and they panic. They blame the economy, their job, or bad luck. But the real issue is lack of discipline. Financial success isn't about luck. It's about making smart choices consistently.
Another major issue is living beyond your means. In today's world, it's easy to get caught up in trying to look successful instead of actually being successful. Social media makes people feel like they need to have the latest fashion, the newest car, and the most expensive gadgets just to keep up. But here's the truth. Rich isn't what you wear, drive, or post online. Rich is having money in the bank, investments working for you, and the freedom to live on your terms. Wealth isn't about showing off, it's about stability and freedom. The key to controlling your money is simple but not easy. Spend less than you earn, save consistently, and invest wisely. Most people don't do this because they let emotions, bad habits, and lack of knowledge dictate their financial choices. They avoid looking at their bank statements because it stresses them out. They don't budget because they don't want to feel restricted. They ignore investing because they think it's too complicated. But avoiding your money problems doesn't make them go away. It makes them worse. Let's talk about what happens when you control your money. When you budget, save, and invest, you create options for yourself. You don't have to stay in a job you hate just because you need the paycheck. You don't have to panic when an emergency happens because you have a financial cushion. You don't have to go into debt just to afford the basics because you've planned ahead. Financial freedom comes from financial discipline. Let me give you a real-life example. There was a man who always struggled with money. Every time he got paid, he spent everything. He ate out every day, bought expensive clothes, and never saved a dime. Then one day, his car broke down, and he didn't have the money to fix it. He had to borrow from friends, max out his credit card, and put himself in even more debt just to get back on his feet. That moment was a wake-up call. He decided to start controlling his money instead of letting money control him. He created a budget, cut unnecessary spending, and started saving every month. He stopped buying things just to impress people and focused on building real wealth. A few years later, he had a solid emergency fund, investments growing, and the peace of mind that came with financial security. The best part? He didn't feel trapped anymore. He had options and opportunities because he took control. The lesson here is simple. Money is a tool. Use it wisely. If you let emotions, bad habits, and short-term thinking control your financial decisions, you'll always struggle. But if you discipline yourself, make smart money choices, and think long-term, you can create a future of stability, freedom, and success. The choice is yours. Control your money, or it'll control you. Life is full of challenges, and no matter who you are, you're going to face obstacles. Some days things will go your way, and other days it'll feel like everything is against you. But here's the key. You can't let your circumstances control you. You have to control how you respond to them. Too many people let life's ups and downs dictate their attitude, their work ethic, and their ability to keep pushing forward. But if you want to succeed, you have to stay steady. You have to be disciplined enough to keep going, even when things aren't perfect. One of the biggest reasons people fail is because they only work hard when they feel like it. They let their emotions determine their level of effort. If they're in a good mood, they're motivated. But if they're tired, frustrated, or discouraged, they slow down, procrastinate, or quit altogether. That's the difference between people who dream about success and those who achieve it. Successful people don't let their emotions decide their actions. They show up, stay committed, and keep moving forward no matter what. Think about an athlete training for a championship. They don't get to say, I don't feel like practicing today. If they do that, they lose. Their success isn't based on how they feel. It's based on the discipline to train every single day, even when they're tired, sore, or not in the mood. The same applies to anything in life. You can't wait for motivation to come. You can't wait for the perfect conditions. You have to be consistent and disciplined, even on the hard days. Another mistake people make is blaming their situation for their lack of progress. They say, if I had more support, I'd do better. If I had more money, I'd work harder. If things were easier, I'd be more successful. But the truth is, waiting for better circumstances is an excuse. The people who win in life aren't the ones who had the easiest path. They're the ones who kept going despite the challenges. They didn't wait for things to get easier. They found a way to push through. You have to train yourself to take action no matter what. Your goals don't care if you're tired. Your dreams don't care if you had a bad day. If you want success, you have to show up every single day and put in the work, whether you feel like it or not. Discipline beats motivation every time, because motivation comes and goes. But discipline keeps you on track. Now, let's talk about people who let their circumstances dictate their success. Have you ever seen someone who's full of potential but never reaches it? Maybe they start something with excitement, but the moment things get tough, they give up. They let distractions pull them away. They lose focus. And years later, they look back and wonder why they never made it. It wasn't because they weren't capable. It was because they let their emotions control their actions instead of the other way around. Here's a real life example. There was a man who wanted to become a writer. He had talent, he had ideas, but every time he sat down to write, he let distractions and emotions get in the way. If he wasn't feeling inspired, he wouldn't write. If he had a long day at work, he'd tell himself he'd write tomorrow. Days turned into weeks, weeks turned into years, and he never finished his book. Then one day, he made a decision he would write every day no matter what. Even if he was tired, even if he wasn't in the mood, even if his work wasn't perfect. And guess what? Within a year, he finished his book. Not because he suddenly got lucky or found more inspiration, but because he stopped letting circumstances control his progress. The lesson is clear. Success doesn't come to those who wait for the perfect moment. It comes to those who keep pushing forward no matter what. Life will test you. Some days will be hard. But the people who make it to the top are the ones who keep showing up, keep putting in the work, and refuse to let temporary feelings decide their future. Control your effort, control your mindset, and keep moving forward. No matter what. Success isn't just about talent, hard work, or intelligence. It's about consistency. You don't get to the top by doing the right thing once in a while. You get there by doing the right things over and over again. The people who truly win in life are the ones who stay committed to their goals day after day, no matter what happens around them. They don't start strong and fade away. They don't let distractions, setbacks, or boredom pull them off course. They stay locked in, focused, and consistent. Too many people fail, not because they aren't capable, but because they don't stick with things long enough to see the results. They start something with excitement, but the moment it gets tough, they slow down. The moment they don't see instant success, they quit. They bounce from one idea to the next, always looking for a shortcut, always chasing something new, but never staying consistent long enough to master anything. Here's the truth. Consistency beats intensity every time. It's not about working hard for a week and then slacking off for a month. It's about showing up every single day, even when you don't feel like it, even when the results aren't showing yet, even when it's boring, repetitive, or frustrating. Because success isn't built in a day, it's built daily. Think about an athlete training for a championship. They don't just work out when they feel inspired. They train every day, whether they're in the mood or not. They know that their strength, their endurance, and their skills don't come from one amazing workout. They come from years of consistent training. The same goes for anything in life. You don't become a great entrepreneur, artist, or leader overnight. You get there by putting in the work day after day after day without making excuses. One of the biggest mistakes people make is expecting results too quickly. They want success to happen fast. They want to lose weight in a week, build a business in a month, or get rich overnight. And when it doesn't happen, they quit. But great things take time. The most successful people in the world didn't get there in a day. They stayed committed when no one was watching, when progress was slow, when it felt like nothing was happening. Then, over time, their hard work added up and they broke through. Another common mistake is getting distracted by temporary excitement. Some people start with passion, but the moment a new opportunity, idea, or trend comes along, they jump ship. They never stick with anything long enough to see it pay off. They chase quick wins instead of building something real. But success doesn't come from jumping around. It comes from staying consistent, even when the process isn't exciting anymore. Now, let me give you a real life example. There was a young man who wanted to get in shape. He joined the gym, worked out hard for a few weeks, and expected to see major changes. But after a month, when he didn't see the results he wanted, he got discouraged. He skipped workouts, made excuses, and eventually gave up. Then he saw someone at the gym who was in incredible shape and asked him how he did it. The man's answer was simple: consistency. He had been showing up week for years. And he wasn't chasing quick results. He was focused on the process. Inspired, the young man decided to do the same. Instead of quitting when progress was slow, he committed to showing up no matter what. Months turned into years, and before he knew it, he had completely transformed, not because he found a secret shortcut, but because he stayed consistent. The lesson is clear. You don't have to be the most talented, the smartest, or the luckiest. You just have to be the most consistent. Success isn't about bursts of effort. It's about steady, daily progress. When things get tough, when the excitement wears off, when results are slow, keep going. Because if you can stay committed when others quit, if you can stay focused when others get distracted, if you can show up every day no matter what, success is inevitable. If you can control your mouth, mind, mood, and money, you can control your future. Ain't nobody gonna do it for you. Ain't nobody gonna hand you success. It's on you. So stop making excuses. Stop blaming your past. Take control today, because the moment you do, your life will start changing. It's your time. Go get it.